Please welcome onto the Superbike show. It is Mr. James Rispoli. Hi, James.
What is going on, guys? How are we doing?
We're sort of picking the bones out of the weekend in MotoGP and trying our best to be not outraged at it. I'm sure you've got your own thoughts, but
yeah, we want to hear them. Actually, that's the first question, James. Argentina GP shenanigans. What, as a rider, what did you make of all that?
Well, what part of the shenanigans do we want to speak about first?
We'll start. If you was Valentino Rossi or Aleix Espargaro, how would you feel with Marquez's actions?
Well, I mean, Rossi for sure. You can't give him his points back. So, he was in a solid, I think 6th position or 5th position. So I think that's a bit tough for anybody. You can penalize Marquez all day, but you can't give somebody their points back. Aleix was not even in the points, so I think it's a little bit less for him. He didn't crash, but regardless, I think Marquez was a bit over the top, with so much speed in the bag. Honestly, I think he was, he didn't need to make moves like that, a bit impatient, about a bit like the old Marquez, where there was no patience and let me pass everybody as soon as I see them in any corner possible. So, in other words, maybe a bit strong moves, but yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Everybody runs in those situations, and it's. If I was Rossi, I'd be pissed. He's been in, situations with Marquez before and, hasn't come out good ever, it seems like. So I don't really think it's very good. I think people probably are a little bit less Marquez fans now. But, as well, if anybody was going to make a move, it would have been Marquez. So...
Do you agree with some fans that are saying, he needs a race ban or back at a good start? Would you carry the penalty onwards to the next race in Austin, where we know he's strong?
I don't know. I'm not race direction. I think that it's hard to carry it on. That's not my skill set. I'm not race direction. I think it was really strong. I think he was rode a bit way over his head in my point of view. I don't think he needed to make moves there, honestly. I mean, he had so much speed in the bag and I don't think he needed to. So I don't think they can really penalize him further on, but at the same level, they need to, make a stand. There's no real kind of clear cut. Everything's a racing incident. It's just going to continue to keep, going and going and going. At the end of the day, we're racing, we're rubbing, but, 3 times in a race or, multiple times, multiple mistakes, multiple errors. It's like, come on, there needs to be a penalty at some point. But I think it's a very, very tricky situation, but I think he was definitely over his head and way out of line on a few of those moves for sure.
Okay, well, I don't want to hear anything else about the Argentine Grand Prix until it comes again next year. So we're going to move on to BSB now. New team for you this year, returning back to Supersport, EverQuick Racing. That's a good challenge for you, that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Stuart Everyard, he's a legend pretty much, and I think he's part-time rocker. We've got a band we've set up. No, he's a legend. The team's really, really good, amazing. We've got, crew chief Andy Jameson. The bikes he built are amazing. He came from Martrain. Obviously, they're tons and tons of success. So we've got a lot of confidence with him. And, I've always wanted to kind of work with him since my second year at TTC. And it just never kind of happened. And to be able to come back and work with a guy of that stature is pretty amazing. So the whole team, the vibe, everything about them, they're really, really down to earth. It's so easy to get along in the team. The vibe's amazing. The atmosphere is just, there's no pressure, but at the same time, we're there to just win and crush everybody. So it's a weird, I know it sounds weird, but it's like the best thing you could have because, at the weekend, we tossed away a 3rd place, but, the team was just super supportive and we were able to come back and get their best result. I believe they've had. So, to come back with a 4th and really start a championship hunt now is pretty good. And I think, it has a lot to do with their team atmosphere. I think that's the biggest thing they have at the moment Obviously they have, some of the best bikes you can put on the grid and all that jazz. But I think the atmosphere is what is going to, really give this team so much success.
You've come off a couple of, I think it's fair to say, difficult years with FS3 and before that tag. We're not getting into that now, but was it a clear-cut decision to return to Supersport on an R6? We know you like the R6. You've had podiums, I think 6 podiums in 2015 when you was last in the championship. Was it a clear-cut decision to say, yes, we're back in Supersport?
I don't think anything's clear cut. Obviously we want to be in Superbike, but at the same time, I don't want to be running around the back anymore. I want to get on a competitive bike. I want to be competitive. I want to be winning races and showing everybody what I can do. I've raced a fair amount of years and raced in a lot of championships and whatnot, and I still want to be in the British Superbike paddock, hence why I'm still here. I think it was a good move because of, the people that are involved, the biggest reason, that I'm in Supersport on the competitive bike is because Andy Jameson, he builds some of the best R6s in the world. And that's one of my biggest, confidence boosters that I have is I went to a team, it's pretty funny. Me and Stuart, we never met until before the week before testing. I signed a contract and everything without never meeting a team owner. I think that's pretty insane. But I had so much confidence in Andy on the machinery, and he, gave me a lot of comments saying that they're going to be the bikes that they had with Marchain. So, that's why I think the 600 move made so much sense to me, because I knew we could easily get on a competitive bike. I knew the bike was going to be good, and it was, all right, James, are you in a good place or a bad place? And I think we've shown coming out of Spain, we had pace. And then at round 1, we showed we had some decent form for, not riding a 600 for 2 years. So, I think all the cards added up, and, sometimes you need to take a couple steps back to move forward. And I wouldn't say it's a step back, but I think we just needed to take a few steps, rein it in, go back. We know we have the speed. We had it before. Nothing's changed. We're on a good bike, good package, straight to the front.
Is the 2015 James Rispoli back then? Are we going to see you at the front most weekends, every weekend, on an R6, knowing that you're yet to win a Supersport race? Is this year going to be the year?
Well, this is where I think I've learned from all those years and experience to say, yeah, I'm going to smoke everybody X, Y, and Z. It's racing. You know what I mean? So we've come in with a better attitude. We finished 4th. We crashed out of a 3rd, so I think the speed's kind of back. Obviously, we're still behind Curry and Kennedy, but I don't think that's, I don't think that's far away. They definitely show they had speed. They're coming off last year of riding 600s at the front. Sorry.
Have a high side.
I almost dropped the phone. Other than that, I think, I've got a bike that's, I think, doing more than what I'm showing at the moment. And towards the dry sessions, we showed we could be, in the podium positions. And to be honest, I think we will win a race this year, if not a few. I think we're going to be on the podium a lot. But at the same time, if we walk out here with 2 4th places again, dude, points in the bag. I'm happy. I know the tracks that I'm really, really strong at, and Brands is one of them. And there's not many places I haven't finished on the podium on a 600. So I think we can do it everywhere. So we're kind of just going to take points like I did in my 2 championships that I won, and we literally finished on the podium every single weekend, and we took points all the time. So it was, it's just what we got to do.
Exactly. That's what points make prizes, consistency makes prizes. But we're going to move away really a bit from BSB now. We're going to talk about America. You are, along with PJ Jacobson, probably the last 2 big American exports onto a big recognised domestic championship, and for PJ onto the World Series. Why is that? What has America not done since the likes of Wayne Rainey, Kevin Schwantz, and John Kaczynski, and Colin Edwards, and Russell, What have they got to do to get that many riders back in a World Championship?
Well, you forgot about Jake Gagne, who's on the factory.
Jake Gagne, yeah,
I can't get my hat straight. I think it's insane. Like it's like because I'm talking backwards to you, it's gnarly. So I can't get my hat straight.
Oh dear.
Yeah. So Jake Gagne is obviously on the factory Honda Red Bull World Superbike ride. So I think it's just crossing the pond. It's very expensive to start the year. People, like, for me, I don't have, this year, so I'm pretty lucky I get to live with Ellison, but generally we don't have, a family here. It's a lot of expense to get here. We don't have vehicles. I think the startup cost just to be in England is, enormous. I think that's one of the reasons. We've got a little kid, Brandon Pash, who's racing the Moto3 class here, and I watch him, literally doing what I did, 2 suitcases over here, living on couches and people's houses over here, riding borrowed bikes and riding everything he can to try to get across. I think he's doing it the hard way like I did. And I think it's money. We don't have in America at the moment a pipeline. We don't have a fund. We've got talented people that could probably come here. Did that again, bud. Talented people that could come here and do well. I just think we don't have the support to be able to do it. We don't have, there's no money. There's no sponsors that will come across because they're either in their series or they don't want to be involved at all. And it's not like it's over here where, the series seems like it's been built on, the working class, you know what I mean? And what I mean by that is the sponsors here are, you've got Smith's BMW, construction firm. You've got, you know what I mean? Like, everything's like working class sponsors that are in businesses that spend money instead of say, give it to tax man. I think in America it's a little bit different there. And I think we don't have, say, a business over there, a real estate firm that is going to spend, $200,000-300,000 for a title sponsorship that is tough to get because they're in America and they don't see how popular the series is. I think that's the big reason behind it has to do money and the opportunity. It's tough. It's really, really tough. It's really tough to come over here and do it. And, like Josh Aaron did, he went over and rode, a great Moto2 ride. But unless you enjoy and love traveling and want to eat weird food and, get an icky stomach every once in a while and be on different time zones and live out of a suitcase, this isn't the life for you being an American. Because, like, when I came over here, it was like, I driving on the wrong side of the road. I was putting the Suzuki vehicle in the freaking hedge and, didn't know where to shop for food. Like,
yeah.
I did, like it's a big, big change. And, you've got no friends, no family. And when you're waking up at 7 a.m., there's nobody up. You just you're alone. So it's tough.
Yeah. What is that though? I mean, like what? Because like I say, we've had the load of Americans have come over on the World Series, European Series, da. So why is there now that mentality of some Americans or the less Americans that aren't willing to come over or can't get in that mindset of I will live out of a suitcase, eat dodgy food, like you say?
Well, I think you've got, brutally honest, you've got the 4 factory bikes over there and they're getting paid cheddar that nobody can else pay here. For them to come over and win. You know what I mean? Like, to get on a competitive package here, you either need to be on, like, there's 10, 11 bikes that can win. I mean, over there, you've got 4 bikes that legitimately can win because they're 4 factory bikes. And those guys are getting paid cheddar. Why would they leave over there? Why would they leave? They're at home. They fly into a race. They do a little bit X, Y, and Z, 20 laps here, 20 laps there, walk away, boom, making dough. You come over here and, like, I think it's pretty, it's pretty crazy that you can, be on, like what Hickman did on the Smith's BMW or, even what, people were doing on, like, say, privateer bikes that, the series has allowed people to be able to win or be on the podium. And I think that's, you don't have to have all the massive amount of money to do it like the big budget teams. You can still do it as a, like a semi-privateer because it's all kind of privateer here. And I think that's some of the reason you've got the top dudes on the top bikes with money over there, and then everybody else doesn't have money to get over here. And, there's no opportunities. Like, I don't care who you are. I think it's going to be very, very difficult for anybody to show up and race Oulton Park or Cadwell Park and then put it on the podium in Superbike. Like, I just don't see that happening in a weekend. Like, the tracks are too tough. Things, unless you're on, a factory bike here, which, what is that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Factory supported bike. What is that? Like, more Ohlins? Like, give me a break. You know what I mean? Like, like there's parts, but it's a perfect example. McCams and Tag. I mean, one's got all the bells and whistles. The other one has enough to do the job right. Has what they need. But you look at last year and look at what Ellison did this year. At round one. I mean, it's crazy to be able to do that. In America, you don't have that. You've got factory Yamaha, factory Suzuki, and then the rest that are trying to throw a program together.
Yeah, it's a massive difference in between the machinery and also in opportunities to come and make your career work over on another part of the world. Last question, then back to you, James. Can you be British Supersport champion this year?
Yeah, of course. I mean, Shaky Byrne didn't finish any points last year before he, won the championship last year. I think that's just a given. I think if we do it, it's a Cinderella story. I think it would be amazing. I believe, the first American to win a British championship, not Superbike, but a British championship. So that's the goal. Am I going to sit here and say the same baloney that everybody says every year? I'm going to win the championship. I'm going to do this, do that. Like, whatever. Who cares? We're going to take every race by race. We're going to grab as many points as we can. We're going to move forward. And at the end of the day, if we win enough races, if we're on the podium enough, dude, I want to be holding the crown and be, looking at the haters going like, yeah, what's up, dude?
That's it. That's the end of the main part. Now, we are doing something a bit different. I did warn you earlier there's going to be a quiz involved. So the quiz basically starts now. Now, it is out of 14 points. Now, Michael Laverty is the leader of this league so far. He's got 10 out of 14.
We've got no chance.
Your last question will be timed as well, so you'll have 30 seconds to do whatever. I'll tell you in a moment what the question is. So, question 1, James. Who was the last American rider to score a British Superbike podium?
It would have been John Hopkins, right?
Yeah, it was last year.
Last year, yeah.
Silverstone, correct. So you've got 1 then. That'll do very nicely.
Oh boy. Wow.
So we're on 1 out of 14, but of course there's 13 more points to get. So there's time. Who was the last American to win a British Superbike race?
To win a British Superbike race, it'd have to be Hopper again, no?
Correct. That's 2 points. So we're doing all right.
Yeah, keep asking me Hopper questions, the Iceman.
Oh, I'm afraid the Hopkins questions have just finished, James. I hate to inform you. We're going to go on to you now. Your first podium in Britain was... your last podium in Britain was in 2015 at Silverstone. And who was on that podium with you?
Glenn Irwin, and because we had a big old scuffle in pit lane. And who was the third place? I have no idea.
You've got to take a guess. Anyone?
Third place. It would have been 1 second. Who was there? I don't know.
Samuel Hornsey.
Sam Hornsey.
Yes.
What?
Nearly.
I was in front of you. I was in front of you.
Oh, was you? Is it the lag time getting in the way, was it? Time zones, I suppose. What was this scuffle in pit lane, just before we go on? What was the problem with Glenn Irwin in pit lane? So he's on next, of course.
Oh, no, yeah, he loves it. Well, it all started at Cadwell, but then we kept going on because he was... I was moving over. I'm going into the last left. I forgot what corner it is. Is the left before the long right on this front straight? Off that straight, not hanger, but... You go down the front straight, and I was moving over, and I was really getting to the brakes, and he lost it. He lost it. And it was in the podium, and he lost it, like, screaming at me. I was laughing. He cracked me up, the old Irishman.
Okay, I'll make a point to that for him when he comes on.
Oh,
Right,
no,
so
he'll remember.
I'll make sure he remembers. I'll let him know, just in case he's not watching now, of course, which he might be. But next question. Now you can get 3 points for this. You're on 3 already, so you're not doing bad. You're doing better than Ben Curry was doing. Ben Curry's on 5 points at the moment. So 2 more.
Curry. Nice.
So 2 more, and at least you'll beat him once this year. We can guarantee that if you get these next ones. So, the last American 1, 2, 3 on a MotoGP or 500cc podium.
Wait, all of them together?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Who was the last? Who were the riders who made up the last All-American MotoGP podium or 500cc podium?
But it was at one race, and they were all on the podium at once.
Yeah, 1993. That was the last time it happened. So,
I don't know.
Say 3 random American riders.
Yeah, well, you've 3 American riders. I don't know when. What's his name? 1993. Schwantz, Lawson, Rainey. I don't know.
You got 2 out of 3.
I don't know when. I don't know when. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the third one. I don't know.
You've got Kevin Schwantz and Wayne Rainey.
Yeah, and then what about? Was it? Kevin. I don't know. Kaczynski? Yeah.
No, not quite. He was. He was the winner of the Australian Grand Prix the year later. But the American you didn't get was Doug Chandler.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't have got him. I don't really. Yeah, no, he's. I don't know. That's dude. I was 2 years old, man. Like, come on.
I was -6 at the time, but I suppose I'll let it slide. Right, I need a timer now. So where's Lester with his 30 set? There we are. That looks nice, doesn't it? League of Knowledge. James Rispoli. Yes, right. You have 30 seconds. That timer will start ticking down when I finish this question. So, since 1990, there has been 7 American winners in MotoGP and 500cc. You have 30 seconds to name them all, starting now.
Schwantz. You've got Nicky Hayden. You've got Lawson. Kaczynski, I'm guessing. You've got who else? Only MotoGP?
Only MotoGP.
Who else do you have? Dude, I don't know. I'm blanking. Dude, I don't know. Frick.
Time up, James. Time up. I've got to say, you got 4, which is more than half. So you're not doing bad. You said Kevin Schwantz, John Kaczynski, Eddie Lawson, and Nicky Hayden. Now, they are all correct.
Why didn't I say what's his name? Yeah, keep going.
So, Wayne Rainey, you missed out.
Yeah, of course, right? I just mentioned him.
Kenny Roberts Jr.
Yeah, of course. Yep.
And Ben Spies, the most...
Yeah, that's the old Texan. Surprised I missed that.
Did get how 9 out of 14, so you are right up there in leaderboard. I think that puts you about 3rd.
Boom.
So that's a respectable AVV.
How you like me now, James. Curry? What's up?
All right, I'll leave you. I believe you with James Ellison now, so I'll let you get on to whatever you're doing. And thanks for coming on the Superbike Show, James. It's been a pleasure.
No worries. Thank you, and I just want to say thank you to everybody for listening, my team EverQuip, and the whole JR fam, the Army. You guys are legends.